Hee hee hee. I'm so excited. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna have a little unboxing time and a little story time. And yeah, I'm gonna just talk and let's hope it get everything right on first take. I will. Go in. Yeah, so I got a little backpack. No, ew. Where's my keys? Life's been so good. So I smell like pee-pee poo-poo right now. I don't smell like pee-pee poo-poo. I feel like pee-pee poo-poo. I just came from a cycling class. One of my coworkers invited me today, and I was like, that should be pretty good. I run like a few times a week. I eat well. Dog. I saw God. Cycling is no joke. You guys can figure this out. Did I already say what it was? It doesn't matter. So what I want to talk about today is the giver of all things. You might think, the universe. Or if you're Catholic or Christian, God. Yes. And I first want to share with some stories. So, a few days ago, I need to slow down, I'm getting too excited. So I've been playing around with manifestation as a part of growing my relationship with God, or the infinite, or consciousness. Because I believe that the self, which is another word for consciousness, or God, which is another word for consciousness, is the giver of all things through the experience of being aware of it. Does that make sense? So the big thing about this self is building a relationship with it. How do I open this? Oh, the big thing is the... Is that correct? That's upside down. So the first step in this process is making the impersonal personal. A lot of times, well, I'll just share my story. In the beginning, it started in college, truly. I had trouble with the word God. I couldn't really click with that. But I did click with the word universe. And the universe had the same characteristics, the same qualities as God. It gave me whatever I wanted, so on and so forth, but I felt like I couldn't talk to it because the universe was everything. That wasn't something I could communicate with. Catholics, they tend to use Jesus, as Jesus even said, I am one with my Father. So talking to him was like talking to God. You know, you might not view it like that, but that is a way that I view it. This also looks so cool. It looks like a little, I really hope nothing falls. Jigsaw puzzle thing. I have a fat melon. I'm gonna make melon lemonade. You feel stuff. Wow. I've wanted to juice it for so long. So, my relationship with the impersonal began in college. And it first started with my experimentation of the law of attraction and fully surrendering to the universe. At this time, I saw a separation between me and the universe. Over time, especially where I'm at right now, that separation is slowly starting to go away. Though I need a consistent reminder that I am the universe / God / consciousness. And saying those words, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, it's egotistical. Like, you're not God. You're a body, you're a mind. Well, I'm speaking about the consciousness that's behind these eyes. That which is aware, that which, whatever it puts its attention to, ends up changing the reality around it. You know, I can put my attention towards happy feeling thoughts and suddenly I'm a light for everyone around me. Or I could put my attention towards things that make me feel bad and suddenly I have just you know what I mean. I can just be poison, social poison to people when I'm grumpy, when I'm yucky, and I alter my reality. People go away from me, my social circles crumble. But when I'm trusting in myself, and I'm trusting, first off, in that higher power, I'm gonna play around with, I keep leaving the story, stay focused. Basically, I played around with the universe for a while. I attracted a lot of things, and then me and my girlfriend broke up. And I was like, wow, the universe kind of sucks because I thought you loved me, why would you do this? It was just fulfilling a deeper intention, which I remember setting, which was finding myself, which is consciousness. I'm getting there. As time went on, I completely abandoned the practice because I just felt betrayed what was going on. But then a bunch of stuff started to happen, astral projections, premonitions. It was myself looking after me, because deep down I didn't want to keep screwing up. I didn't want to keep ruining my life as I had been. So I was getting these astral projections which would give me what was going to happen move the day forward in an emotional sense. I would go through the emotional ups and downs that were going to happen. First in the astrals I would react terribly, and then when I came back here I would go through the same things, but having already experienced them and acting in an improper way, I would act in an appropriate way to get the result I was actually looking for. And so this made me realize, okay, there is a higher power and there is something that's looking after me, though there was still that separation. I did lose it again in for the next 2 years, because I had issues with substance abuse. I had issues with just meditation and life in general. I was working graves, so midnight to 5 a.m. all the time. When I came home, the world would wake up, so I could never sleep. It just sucked. Yeah, it just sucked. And then moving forward, I found Kriya Yoga, and I became obsessed with the technique itself. However, what the point is of the technique is to silence and still the mind, so then you can shift the focus from the senses to that which is aware of the senses. As the giver of all things, through the experience of being aware of it, you can call it God, the universe, self, all that, only allows you to experience the senses when you are aware of it. Your ability to see, hear, taste, touch, smell goes away when you go to sleep, because you stop being aware of this plane, of this reality. And your consciousness goes somewhere else, and usually a dream. And from there, you become aware of the sounds, the sights, the tastes, the touches, all that stuff, all the senses over there. And then you are given that experience through the experience of being aware of it. Makes sense? I keep saying that. I'm just hoping it's clicking. So, in my meditations recently, I have been just holding myself on that which is aware, which is the supreme being. And I mean being, like simply being. You don't move your mind. You don't move your mind. You don't move your body. You don't move anything. It's so rejuvenating. It's so relaxing. Time disappears. Everything disappears. It's the supreme being. You simply are. Now you might be wondering, what good do I get by just being still? That sounds like nothing's happening. Well, I don't know how to get this out of here. When you get the realization that you actually are not the body. This goes a very long way when it comes to safety, when it comes to getting out of the primal urges of safety. I already said that, sorry. But a lot of us get stuck in, I guess the word would be primal consciousness. I need to get food, I need to get shelter, I need to make sure I'm okay. And so a lot of us just work so we can eat. A lot of us just work so we can have a house, and that's it. We chase money so we can chase food, so we can go to sleep, so we can chase money, so we can chase food, so then we can go to sleep, and the cycle continues, right? And so you never get past that. It's always just reproduction, survival, that's it. And that's when you're stuck in the body until you die, and then you go back to your source, you astral project, all that. I'm not gonna get there, I'm not gonna get there. But I worked past that. And I did that it was when I was creating the astral formula. There is one video in specific, I want to say it's the supreme being and formula creation, where I had a very, very specific experience where I was like, oh, like this is what they're talking about, where you are the consciousness and you can be aware of the body, but you understand that you're not it. You can be aware of the mind and you're not it. And so I started to play around with what I was being aware of and how that would change my reality. And the issue is not an issue, but once you start to do that, you have to be very deliberate, because since your focus is so strong, you're going to express yourself, you're going to express that energy very strongly, and so your reality reacts very quickly. I no longer get away with things that I could have in the past. People react to me very quickly. I work in the customer service industry, and I need to be on top of my game, or else I can tell when I'm just not giving people the best service and they leave unhappy. I'm making it seem like I do it a lot. I don't, but I understand when I do it, and I'm not proud of it. So the stories I wanted to share with you guys was a few days. Look at this! It's a big toothbrush. So excited. Trust in it. There was one day I finally had a day off of work. I've been averaging like 6 days of work, 5 days of work a week. Which is very abnormal, but looking back on the past, it's not. And what I did is I would just lay down, and because there isn't a specific posture for this. The consciousness is not a posture. Consciousness is not the body. So you simply just have to become aware of it. And I would completely surrender to it. I would stop my mind and just absorb into it. And when you do that, it kind of goes along the biblical terms of, I forgot the exact phrase, but it goes along the lines of when you find the kingdom of God, all the things that you ask for will be put onto you, and so will everything else that you don't ask for. That's a paraphrased version of it. And I've been putting off tanning all day because I wanted to make the video, I wanted to edit it, I got a new monitor, so I needed to adjust it. There was just a lot of work that I needed to do. And eventually I went into my meditation, and I came to a FaceTime from a friend. And they're like, yo, we're going to the river. And I was like, cool, I don't have a tube. And one of my friends was like, don't worry, I got you, we got a tube. So I go, I don't need anything. Like I simply had basically what I'm wearing, which is my shorts and another shirt. I get a tube, I go over there, and there is something which I've been trying to avoid. And these people had it. And lo and behold, what they needed to work to make it, help them use it. I'm being around the bush here, I don't want to use the terms. Didn't work because it got wet. And I was like, oh my God, like all my prayers are being answered right now. And there was a point in time where I got into the water and I was on a high like no other. It was again one of those God moments but this time it wasn't just God, like it was me with me. I was so thankful of myself for this experience, for giving me this experience by having me be aware of it. And I keep saying that because it's a mantra that I use in my meditations. I need to move this. I really hope this video turns out well. I feel like I'm just rambling. Insecurities, JC. Don't let those be expressed. Express your insecurities if it's emotionally honest, okay? Don't hinder your expression. Sorry, I just need to talk. It's been so long since I've been able to just talk. It is JC's journals too, so if you don't like it, I mean, I'm just reading my journal, so technically you're the creep. I'm just saying, hey, shut up. I get struggles with some people that I love in terms of how I think about them. You might be thinking, how do you struggle with someone that you love? Don't you just love them? Well, it's more what I want from them versus what I'm seeing. But I have specific intentions with certain people. It's like a project. It's a relation. The relationship I want to have with them is a project. I have the end goal where my awareness is. I know it's going to come too, but I need to trust God. I need to trust myself. Consciousness, parentheses. I need to trust myself that it's going to happen. And so with that, this body, this mind needs to just surrender to it. It needs to trust that which is giving me the experience of everything by having me be aware of it is taking care of everything. Because if it's giving me this experience, that means it's controlling everything. Okay, a lot of this might not make sense to you, it might just be mumbo jumbo. This is the next portion of permanent peace that I want to teach you guys later on. There's a lot that I would have to teach you first and eventually build you up to, but this is just me journaling and talking. Oh my God. And it's incredible how I'm able to will people to talk to me simply by just thinking about them. It's awesome. There's a certain part in the autobiography of the yogi where Yogananda, the person who wrote it, it's his autobiography. When he first finds his guru, he's standing there, sees him, keeps going, and he suddenly can't move anymore. And he feels a pull towards Sri Yukteswar, which is his guru. And he explains how the man's will is so strong that he couldn't move forward. He had to turn around and move towards him. And so the big thing with Yukteswar was he had already dissolved his ego and he understood himself as consciousness, or quote unquote the Lord of space. Because consciousness, God, the universe, is essentially the Lord of everything. It is the one who is creating it through the experience of being aware of it. And so he understood himself as that. And by holding himself there, he was able to control everything. And so that's how he was able to enact his will so strongly on Yogananda. And so I'm practicing that right now by pulling people towards me, but it's not manipulative. It's all in the most loving way possible. I'm not trying to pull things from people. I think of them in a loving way. I toss love to them all the time, mentally. And I mean, maybe it's manipulative if I just want to text, I don't really know. But they come to me, and it feels so cool. It's just, and then I signed up for a 10K run, and in my head, I'm like, I should probably exercise a little bit more. You know, I think I'll be fine though. But a deeper part of me is like, you need to know where you're at. So I go to work today, and I really don't know if I'm gonna do this right, but I'm really enjoying talking. I go to work today, and my coworkers are talking about hanging out, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, kind of cool. I kind of want to join, but I'm not gonna ask. I'm just going to make things work out for me. And once I said that, I'm like, I'm trusting everything's gonna unfold naturally. It'll be whatever. They invite one of the girls there, and she's like, yeah, I don't really want to go. So I look at them and I go, and I look back and they're like, you want to come? And I said, yeah, I want to go. Next thing you know, I'm in a cycling class, dog. Whoop my butt. I realized I need to run a little bit more if I want to be able to do this run. But it was another example of me today, how the self, that which gives me the experience of being aware of it, is always looking after me. Because these subtle desires, I am aware of them, though they're very, again, they're subtle. They're very much in the back of my head. They can be overlooked, especially if you do not have a high enough awareness of what is going on inside yourself. And that's kind of dangerous because you're going to be manifesting unconsciously, and you're going to be like, why is everything going so bad for me? God, why? But really, it's you. It's always been you. Because you create based on what you're aware of. As I said, the self gives you the experience of everything through being aware of it. So if you are being aware of negative thoughts, bad intentions, you don't believe things are going to go well, sorry, Jane, that's just what happened. But yeah, I'm gonna make some juice. That was a really long talk. I don't really know. Cool. Love you guys.